Hi, this is Malia from Loom with M, and today I'm going to teach you how to make the Starburst bracelet. This is my first video because I just decided to start my channel, and so I figured a Starburst would be perfect to start with. Here are some Starbursts that I have made before. Let's see if I can focus in on those. There we go. And here's two more. Now let's focus back on my loom. Perfect. Okay, band requirements. So for the border, we're going to need 28 bands, 26 to go up, plus an ending cap band, and then the 6 cap bands that are going to go on each Starburst. That will total 34. And I'm going to use 3 colors, so that will be 2 Starbursts in each color. You can use up to 6 colors or any combination. You could only use 2 colors or 1 color, however you want to do it. So it's going to be 12 bands plus however many for the extension, and your wrist might not be the same as mine, so it's going to be a little bit different, so I didn't add bands for extension. The total bands will be 70 bands, and that does not include extension bands. So if you just want to figure out how many yours is, each Starburst uses 6 colored bands, 4 border bands, and a cap band, and we'll be placing the border bands in advance. So if you would like to count your bands now and have them set up like mine, pause the video here and continue when you're ready to follow along. Okay, let's get started. So first we're going to start by placing a single black band from the center pin to the left. And now we're going to place single bands all the way up to the second to last pin on our loom. And once you get to the top of your loom, you're going to want to take a single black band and loop it towards the center. And now go back to the beginning of your loom. We're going to place another band from the center pin to the right. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Go all the way up the loom. So again, once you reach that last pin, you just move into the center. Now we can start on our Starbursts. So go back to the start of your loom, and I'm going to zoom in a little so that it's easier to see what I'm doing. First, we want to place our A-colored band, mine is blue, from the second pin that has no bands on it yet. And we're going to place it out to the right. You must have it in this position for the Starburst to work. I can tell you why, but it'd be a little bit too long to explain. Pretty much when you flip the loom, it needs to be there. And now we're going to continue placing from the center pin out onto all these pins. So continue placing bands on all 6 of these pins. So you're basically placing bands in a clockwise rotation to make this star pattern, and that's why it's called a Starburst. And now all we have to do is do this for all of them. So move up a pin and place it off to the right at the 2 o'clock position. And we're going to do that all the way around in a clockwise rotation, making sure to push down the bands on this middle pin so we have enough room to continue placing all these bands on. Oh, that's not quite on. Continue placing these Starbursts all the way up the loom. Okay, so once you have finished your last band on your starburst, we need to place a cap band at the end. So take one of your black bands. Sorry, it's not in focus. And place it on that last pin of the loom. If you don't know how to make a cap band, it's just single band, twisted, doubled over on itself, and then placed on the last pin of the loom. If you do know how to make a cap band, you should be pretty good at that by now. Okay, so now we need to place cap bands on the center of each starburst. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of my loom and show you how to do that. So when you're making a cap band, you can also put it on the pin, twist, and then put it back over itself. So we need to do that for the center of every starburst. Pull out, twist, and put back on. So double over bands, center of every starburst. Once you have all of the cap bands on, we are ready to start looping. So turn your loom so that the red arrow right there is facing towards you. So we're starting at the end on your last starburst. Take your hook. I don't know if you can see. Does that help? Take your hook and we're gonna pull back this cap band with the back of your hook and grab the white band. Mine's white. It would be your colored band, not the border. And grab it with your hook. Now make sure it's pulled around the pin and loop it to the center of the starburst. Now we're going to pull back the black cap band or your border color and reach out to the side and grab the top white band. It should be the one going to this pin. Pull it around the peg and loop it out. So we're going to loop all of the starburst petals out until we reach the last one. So again, you're going to reach in, right? Grab the band, make sure it's the correct one, bring it around the peg, and pull it forward. Again, you can reach in here, grab, make sure you have this one right there, pull it around, and loop it out. And my starburst popped up here, so I'm just gonna push it back down. And now last one should be easy, right? Grab it, pull it in, and now we loop the next band of our starburst, the next starburst, forward, and now we're set up to do the same thing on the other one. Pull back the cap band, grab the color B band, mine is red, then and loop it out and grab the next one with your hook. You just keep grabbing them and looping them back to yourself. And you know you have the right shape when you can kind of see the band coming around here and then come back, and it makes this teardrop V shape. I don't know, I've heard teardrop and V, but I don't know any other terms that you might use to describe that teardrop shape. And we have to do this for every starburst on the loom. So now we've looped all of the starbursts on our bracelet, and I'm just going to zoom out so you can see mine. And just make sure yours looks like this and you're not missing a band. All of your starbursts should be looped out with the cap band. If you have any loose bands, please loop them now so that your starburst turns out wonderful. Now we just need to loop the border bands to the end. So I'm going to zoom in again, and border bands are pretty easy. It's often like a single chain. We're going to pull back our cap band, grab this top border band. It should be the one on the left, but if it's the one on the right, it doesn't really matter, and loop it out to the left pin. And we're going to now grab the last pin band, and loop it out to the right. And for this band, it might help if you kind of pull it down so you can see it. And then we're going to grab it. We're going to go through all the rest of the bands, grab that bottom border band, bring it up, and loop it forward. Now mine's kind of tight, so I'm going to bring my hook around to kind of release this tension there. And we just need to loop all of these border bands by pulling back the rest of them and pulling it forward all the way up the loom. Oh, sorry for going off camera. And once you reach the top, you just pull the last band to the center because there's no more pins to loop it forward. And now we're going to go back to the other side, and do the other side. So we're going to the beginning of our loom, and we're going to do the same thing, pulling back all of the other bands on top and grabbing the bottom border colored band and loop it forward. And we're going to continue doing that all the way up the loom. And then the last band you loop into the center. Now we need to finish our bracelet. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see this better. And to finish the bracelet, we need to slide all of these bands. Hold on, let me try to focus here so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. We need to slide all of these bands towards the top of the pin just to make it easier for ourselves. And now we're going to slide our hook down this pin, down the channel of the pin, and poke it out to the side. Oh, I'm out of focus again. Okay. Then we're going to take our last black band, border color, stretch it on so it's got some tension there, and then we're going to pull the hook back up through the channel, and then put the other end on our hook. Can you see that? So we have this on our hook. I'm sorry for it's so out of focus. I'll need to fix my camera for the next video. And you can slide it up to this middle kind of part just so that you don't lose it. And now we're going to pull this off of our loom. I'm just going to zoom out so you can see more of my loom. Okay? And it's pretty easy to get this one off. If you have trouble, you can use your hook. Otherwise, just use your fingers to pull this off. And there you go. There's your finished Starburst bracelet. Now we just need to extend the bracelet. Okay, to extend your bracelet, I like to use 7 bands because that's what fits my wrist. 6 bands is supposed to be for an average adult, but if you like your bracelet more loose, you might want to use more bands, and if you need you have a smaller wrist, you might want to use less bands. So let's get started on the extension. Let me remember, so you need to turn your loom so that the red arrow is facing away from you. I always forget that step. And we're going to loop an extension chain however long your wrist needs to be. In my case, it's going to be 7 long. So it's just like a straight single chain up the end of the loom. Oh, sorry, I wanted to use red. And I like to use my border color. So once your extension is as long as your wrist needs to be, mine is 7 long, then we're going to turn our loom so that the red arrow is facing towards us. And we're going to attach this open end of the bracelet to the last peg of the loom. Some people like to use the cap band, and that's fine too. You can just place the cap band on the last peg, but I like to use this finished end here. So we're going to stretch it out and use our hook to place this open end on the last peg of the loom. And now this is going to pretend to be our cap band. I'm going to zoom in a little. So we just need to ignore this and pull it back like a normal cap band, and then it's just like a single chain. We're just going to loop it straight forward. And once we have finished looping, sorry for going off camera there. Hold on, I think I need a C-clip. Okay, cool. So once we've finished this, then we need to pull this last band out to this other peg. And if you're good at Starburst, you won't need to do that, but it just kind of creates tension here so that you can put on your C-clip. So I'm gonna slip my C-clip on, push it down, and kind of, you can twirl it, like look, mine wasn't on, so it fell off. So you can, once you think it's on, which mine is still not on, you can twirl it to make sure it's still on. And then we're gonna hold the C-clip and pull this off of the loom. And here's our Starburst bracelet. Now we're gonna use this C-clip and we're gonna rotate the bracelet around and clip the C-clip on to that last cap band. And there you have it, finished Starburst bracelet. And you can just put it on your wrist. And then you're done.